I think it was the product of a perfect storm. She was an early bloomer. She got her period when she was 10 and a half, very developed, not like the other children in her peers. And so she always felt different. And so I think she struggled a little bit with her body image issues. She was never fat. She just felt different from everyone else. So we were struggling financially, so there was some tension in the home. And we were trying to figure out how to make ends meet and keep our daughter in private school and give our children all the things that they were used to. She was binging first. And I think that was to deal with her anxiety. And we noticed it, but we just thought, oh, maybe she just has a sweet tooth or something. And so we tried to talk to her about eating healthy, making healthy choices, things of that sort. We never ever talked about her body, her weight, anything like that. From her binging, she developed the bulimia. From the bulimia, she developed, I guess, the early stages of the anorexia, the restricting. And so it just became this cycle where she would binge, feel guilty about it, then she would purge, feel guilty about purging, didn't like purging, and then she resorted to restricting. And so just this cycle continued, and you just started seeing this beautiful girl become like so depressed and powerless and hopeless. And we just started seeing like this big change in her. She didn't care about anything. She didn't care about her friends. She didn't care about school. She didn't care about her family. She just didn't care. We had got her into treatment. She was seeing a therapist twice a week and a nutritionist, but it wasn't enough. And so she would do really good for maybe a couple days, and then she would binge, and then she would purge, and then she would restrict, and it was just a constant spiral. So probably about 3 months into it, our therapist had recommended that maybe we seek some type of in-home facility, and she recommended Center for Discovery. We weren't there yet. We just felt like, she looked normal. She didn't have an unhealthy weight, so it was hard for us to believe that she needed this in-depth treatment. So we said, well, let's just bump up the treatment. We'll see the therapist 3 times a week and the nutritionist once a week instead of every other week. And it just wasn't helping. It just wasn't enough. She needed to get out of her environment, get in a different environment, and have constant support. We just decided that, you know what, it's time. It's time for her to go. So it was hard. It was probably the hardest thing I ever did, because I was handing over my daughter to some strangers that I didn't know. And my daughter had never been away from us for more than 2 days when she went off to camp when she was in 6th grade. So the thought of us having to have our daughter gone for 30, 45 days, 60 days was just, wow, hard to even imagine. So that was really hard, but we're in a good place now, so you know what? I'd do it all over again.